The 2025 Kia K4 is a very interesting vehicle in Canada in particular because we no longer have the K5, the mid-size sedan. That was discontinued in the Canadian market. It continues on in the US and elsewhere, but in Canada, it is no more. So the fact that this K4 is a little bit bigger than the Forte that it replaces means it plays an even bigger role for this brand. And I'm telling you, from inside, it doesn't feel as compact as the Forte. There is quite a bit of room. There is also some visual trickery here. These big, bold lines, they help the space feel even wider than it does. There's tons of shoulder room, tons of hip room, and the expanded dimensions mean there is more space in the back seat. Now, this sort of fastback styling means I can't quite sit comfortably upright in the back seat, but there is a ton of legroom. I can very comfortably sit behind myself with the driver's seat set in my comfortable seating position. There is more than enough legroom for me. Now, the wheelbase here, it is a little bit shorter than the Honda Civics, but there's a bit more rear seat space. The trunk, about the same. There's 413 liters, although I will say on that note, I really wish that Kia would have made this thing an actual fastback instead of just the styling. I wish it had a liftback like you got with the Kia Stinger. Not only did it look cool, but it was very practical, and that would really help things here. It would make this even more functional than it is. That's something I would like to see, especially because if you take a look inside, the trunk has exposed hinges. So it actually cuts into a bunch of the usable space when you have stuff back there. Boxes, any big items, they are gonna end up getting kind of crushed by those exposed hinges. So that cuts into the overall usability just a bit, and that's something that having a lift back would help. Now, that's one of my complaints in here, but that is one of the few complaints I have so far driving this thing. I should point out, we are driving the EX trim. Now, Kia Canada says this is going to be the volume seller in our market, and it makes a lot of sense, but that means it does not have that nice 1.6 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine. There is a 2-liter naturally aspirated engine under the hood that carries over from the Forte. It makes 147 horsepower, 132 pound-feet of torque. Those numbers aren't going to impress you. Neither is the acceleration. It's not terrible, but it does have to work pretty hard. You got to bury your foot pretty deep to tap into any sort of guts. Makes it hard when you're passing on the highway or you're merging. Mostly the problem of the CVT. Now, Kia calls it an IVT, an intelligent variable transmission, but that's just a marketing term for a continuously variable transmission. Don't get me wrong, it works well enough. It's just not quite what you need when you need it if you want that extra shot of passing power. Now, Kia has also talked about how much quieter this thing is, but I'm not buying it. This is still a pretty noisy car. A lot of wind noise coming off these door mirrors, not at crazy speeds either. Anything sort of above city speeds out onto the highway, right around 100 kilometers an hour, there is quite a bit of wind noise, road noise, and yes, the powertrain because of that CVT. One thing I will say, it is fairly efficient. With this 2-liter, this thing is rated to burn either 7 or 7.3 liters per 100 kilometers combined, depending on the wheels that you're riding on, as well as some of the equipment, obviously weight and all that stuff. It adds up. That's not terrible, although I will say it leaves me longing for a hybrid version, especially this day and age, and especially because the Hyundai Elantra that this thing is very closely related to is available with a hybrid powertrain. I would love to see that brought over to this K4. That's not to say it's never going to happen. It might be a couple years down the road, but it is a bit of a glaring issue. A bigger one for me, though, is the pricing. This thing starts at $2,900 more than the outgoing Forte sedan, and that is a lot of extra money. Yes, there's a whole bunch of extra features here. You have almost an entire advanced safety suite. The only thing that's missing from the cheapest version is blind spot monitoring. You get everything from lane keep assist and departure warning to forward collision warning, automatic emergency braking, and adaptive cruise control that works in stop and go traffic. So the only one that doesn't come on that base LX is blind spot monitoring, but then you get it in the more expensive EX version But I'm telling you right now, this thing starts at $24,000 plus the $1,850 freight charge. That means you are paying almost $26,000 before tax for the cheapest version of what's supposed to be Kia's cheapest car. And listen, I've said it before, it's not up to any one brand to carry the torch of affordability for the entire industry. But this is a huge problem. We are losing cheap cars, and this is not helping. And that means this EX I'm driving, it's about $28,500 before tax in Canada. I'm telling you, that is a lot of money. Yes, this is a fairly spacious, compact car. It's got a decent selection of features, but that is a lot of money for what is often people's first new car. That is what this segment has long been known for, and the fact that this thing costs so much, it is a big problem for me. Now, I do want to get back to the good news, and that is the ride quality. I find this thing very comfortable. It's fairly nimble and agile, and don't forget, the cheaper trims with this 2-liter engine have a torsion beam in the back instead of a fully independent setup that you get with the turbocharged engine. So that technically is kind of the cheap version. And all things considered, this thing handles itself fairly well. Again, aside from how noisy it gets, there's lots of good features in here. You get this big touchscreen, wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Heated seats are standard. A heated steering wheel comes in with this EX trim. A 6-speaker stereo in this EX. Over-the-air updates. There are all kinds of goodies here, but I'm telling you right now, Kia missed the mark on the pricing by probably about $2,900.